Okay, on our 2014 Thor Motor Coach Palazzo, these motorhomes are, they're not exactly your, top of the line motorhomes, and I'm not knocking the Palazzo at all. We love this thing. The first couple of years were rough. Well, the first year was rough because we had a lot of slide out issues, and I'm just waiting for it to break again, but we've had almost over 10 years with it now. Pretty much trouble-free. Anyway, I digress. So the storage on these types of motorhomes, is not that great. You just have the normal regular fiber, not even wooden doors, if you will, that's just got a nice pretty cover over it. So they're not the full bays that you'd see on a traditional diesel pusher. This is not a raised rail chassis or anything like that. The chassis goes through, well, not the couple of storage bays in the front, but you'll see the chassis in the pass-through bays toward the back. So let's go. With that being said, the storage in this thing is a struggle, but like I said, we've made it work for us because we don't carry no more than what we need. So let's start out with the first bay. First bay is right here in the front on the door entry side, which is the passenger side of the motorhome. This is where I put my charcoal grill. This is where I put my charcoal. I've just got a box here that I need to remove. It don't need to be here, but I do have a shovel in it because we have a dog, and when you're camping, you need a shovel. Need I say more? I keep my lighter fluid in here. I keep some seasoning wood there for cooking. And I don't know what else I got back there. I got some kind of washer fluid because it goes in the front. And I got her nameplate over here, and that's about it. This pretty much covers the very front storage compartment. And then we move on a little further down past the front tire. This is where I keep all my tools. I know it looks rough. I got a little bit of everything. I got some spare parts. I've got my toolbox. I've got my other trinkets and spare parts. And then I have my tool bag up here. Basically, without going through all this stuff, like, for example, I've got to replace my shade in the front. I've got one from Amazon, and I got it stuck in here. I'm going to replace this when we're camping because I just don't have time. I mean, I'm going to have to replace it while we're camping. So you're always fixing something. So basically, the rule of thumb is make sure you bring plenty of tools that you think you will need, because I can guarantee you there will come a point in time where you will need tools. So I mean, I've got all my pliers, wrenches. I have another socket set right here. I've got more tools in here. I've got spare parts. I have a serpentine belt. I have fuses. My goodness, you need fuses. You need to make sure you bring fuses in a motorhome or a camper. I've got cleaning supplies, cleaning rags, detailer, wax. I have R134A refrigerant because it's kind of hard to get, and this thing has a dash AC that is very susceptible to losing refrigerant. And I even have this is the entire refrigerant fill for AC units and gauges. So that's my manifold gauges, and I can fill my AC unit, my dash AC unit, which they're the compressors on the motor in the back, without overfilling it. What else? Got a big screwdriver. Zip ties are invaluable. You need zip ties. Got zip ties. I've got weather strip in case something breaks, some weather strip, extra pieces of wood, gloves. I got a serpentine belt, hammer, got a hammer in there. You got to have a hammer because you never know when you need to beat something to death to make it work. So bunch of screws, bunch of extra parts. I use that stuff at the house and I always bring it with me because I'm always using something out of here on the motorhome. All right, that about covers this bay. Let's move on down the entry door. Let's move on down to the middle pass-through bay. And I tell you what, I'll go ahead and turn the light on. There's a light on here. There's a light on this side and a light on the other side. I've already put an LED in it, so it's very bright. This is where I store all our general camping stuff. I store all our chairs on top of the chassis. That is actually the chassis for this motorhome that runs right through this storage bay. I have more charcoal. I have my Blackstone griddle. I have a tent 10 by 10 that it's got sticks. You stick it up. It's a stick up tent. I don't know what you call it. I have extra propane here for my Blackstones. I have a 12-ton bottle jack. Very, 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 very important when you have a motor home of this size of diesel pusher. You need a very big jack. You never know when it's going to come in handy. I've actually had to jack the motorhome up once before came in invaluable. So here's all my little gas trinkets. Well, they're not gas trinkets, they're your regulators for all your little grills and stuff. Got all these right here. This is a piece of PVC pipe I made to put my flagpole, which is right there on the back of the motorhome on the ladder with the American flag. And so I put that in there. Under the chassis, I have extra chairs, and that goes all the way through the other side. And I'll show you the other side here in a minute. Let me turn the light off so I don't forget. I have extra rugs here. Got everything on carpet, and that covers that bay. I also have a strap here, a rubber tie-down strap. So in case I need to tie anything back when it starts to fall off the motorhome. You never know when your awning's gonna fly off or something, you're gonna need a way to strap it back, and I have a rubber strap right there in case that happens. Moving along. All right, this is the wet bay. Well, actually, this is where your holding tanks are. Your gray tank and your black tank are up here. This is a foldable table that fits perfectly in here. This motorhome did have a divider where you couldn't see nothing behind it. I removed that so I could put some, extra rope. I've got a rubber thing to kneel down on the ground here if I need to work on something on the ground. Got me a little bit of this triazicide, which is bug spray table, and you can move this, and there's the water filter for the motorhome. That about covers that bay because you can't get much in there, just a water tank. And I never carry me a full tank of water, guys. All you're doing is burning more fuel. So unless you're going to be dry camping, basically where you need to carry your water, I don't keep my water tank full. I'm moving right along. All right, so here's the rear duals. In this bay is all your house batteries, and your house batteries are down here. Your chassis batteries, there's 2 of them up here for your Cummins, and basically the truck part. These are down here for your house part. I do store some wood in here. I used to have more in here, but I found like I didn't use many pieces of wood anymore because this motorhome has a leveling system on it, so I really don't use that. But that's the battery bay. The last one is the inverter bay, and I do have some more foot or pads for the jacks down here. I've got some more pieces of wood, but basically there's not much storage in here because there's all your inverter. Here's your you call that that's the bi-directional isolator relay delay. That's your bird. That's what controls things between your chassis or that controls the battery charging and everything from your chassis to your home. So basically that controls flipping things over when you got your alternator running, your engine running, it flips it over back to charging to the inverter. So that's what that does. A couple more relays, a fuse. That's your chassis fuse box right there. There's a cooling fan, and that fan does work. The thermostat for that fan is right here. So when this bay gets hot, that fan comes on. It won't come on like when you're just sitting still in the campground. It'll come on after you've been going down the road and running the motorhome for a while, because the DPF, DF, all of the exhaust for the Cummins is right behind all this underneath the motorhome. So that covers that bay. We'll come around to the back. This is obviously where your engine radiator is. This right here is the power steering fluid. Keep that topped off. You check the oil, and you actually fill the oil for the Cummins ISB back here, and that is right up there. There's also a CAN bus port for diagnostics, which is it's right here. It's right there beside it. So that's where a technician can plug up their computer at the back. They don't have to be in the front to run diagnostics on the engine. This right here is your air filter reminder. That tells you when you need to replace your air filter. So if that thing fills up, boom, you need to replace your air filter. Hope you never get that far into it. I've never got that far into it. I do have a spare tire on this motorhome in the back, and this is I got it from E-Trailer, and I do have a full-on 22.5-inch spare tire, and I do have a way to put it on with it's called a helper wrench. It's like a cheater wrench, so I can break the 500 foot-pound lug nuts on this motorhome if I need to. I may not be able to tighten them up to 500 foot-pounds, but I can get to a safe place or a truck stop to have them do that. So I do carry a good spare, and this thing's very nice. If you want more information about that, I will give that to you. I did get that from eTrailer, and I think it's called a, there's no name on it now. I forgot what it's called. I've had it for like 10 years. Oh, here it is, Roadmaster. There you go. So that's the Roadmaster. All right, moving right along. This right here is your hot water heater. I have had to pull the thing completely out and replace the element. That's the only way you can do it. You cannot get to it from the back. The next bay, moving forward on the driver's side or left side, this is your wonderful DEF tank. Got to have DEF. Can't leave home without it. Thank you, EPA. So that's your DEF tank. Moving right along, this is the other side of the wet bay. Here's all your water connections. And on this Palazzo, I actually moved the water pump, which was in the middle behind the water tank. Very hard to service, very hard to get to. If it broke, you couldn't get to it. If it leaked, you couldn't get to it. So basically, I rerouted it over here. We rewired it. I rerouted the plumbing to it from all the way over there to on this side, so it's very easy to service. There's your little check valve. You can clean it out right there. If it breaks, it's easy to replace, easy to undo and let it drain for the winter for winterization. Here is your black tank. Here is your gray tank. And there's where it all happens right there. That's the business end of it. You hook your hose up to that and you dump it. This is the low drain points. You got your hot water, your cold water. You turn those on, drains all the water out of the motorhome. That is your city fill. You can fill your tank with that, or you can also run it like if you're in a full hookup campground. You put your water hose in there and you can run off of that. Here's an external shower right here. This right here is your valve for filling your water tank, for city water, or for running the motorhome off the pump. Basically, that's all that does. And this one right here is for your hot water heater. That's your bypass unit for the hot water heater. You can bypass the hot water heater altogether or leave it to the hot water heater, which I have it set in that setting right now. Oh, and there's also a cable plug if you're at a full hookup site with cables right there. So that covers the wet bay on the driver's side. Okay, this is the driver's side pass through from the other side we were at a while ago. You saw all the way through. There's those chairs I was telling you about a while ago. I just got them sitting on top of the frame. It's a perfect place, out of the way. They don't go anywhere, they won't move. Here's the other end of my flagpole. Here's my cable TV cable, which, I mean, we never use it no more. I mean, even if we go to a place with cable TV, we never watch TV anymore. But anyway, all right, I have an extra 50 amp service cable or power hookup for this motorhome. And oh, by the way, on this motorhome, it's right here. And when I'm at home, this motorhome stays plugged up all the time. That's the reason why I'm still on the original batteries, literally the original house batteries on this motorhome. Let me go back around and talk to you about that a minute. All right, it's about to wear me out, guys. I'm tired already. Guys, I'm tired already. These are the truck batteries or the chassis batteries. I replaced those last year. They were dead gone. The engine wouldn't start, so I had to replace those. But these down here, they are 10 years old, and I keep them on a full charge all the time. I've not had to replace them yet. I'm keeping my fingers crossed it'll last me at least another 1 or 2 seasons. So, okay, what is there else over here? And back to the center pass-through bay, I do keep my sewer hose on this side. I do have a wheel chock and carpet down there. And that's about it for this side. So, and then there is a smaller storage unit on this side. It doesn't pass all the way through, but you can see that there's the chassis again. And in this bay, I keep my mats for my campgrounds. I got 2 of them. So basically you can put these mats out. So like if you say, for example, if you're on grass or something, but most places will not let you put these out if you got nice grass. I will go ahead and tell you that. But if you're in like a rocky camp or like a state park where there's rocks, you can put those down. If you're on concrete like this, you can put those down. So they work out really well. I got 2 water hoses. I always carry 2 water hoses. Gotta have 2 water hoses for hooking up your water. Here is a 30 to 50 amp plug. You gotta have that. Some campgrounds only have 30 amp. There's my sewer hose keeper, or like, you know, not keeper, but it's where you lay your sewer hose on if you got to downstep your sewer hose to the a full hookup site with sewer. I got some more parts, knickknacks, things in here. I keep my umbrellas, my beach umbrellas, everything up there. I have an extra chair down here. Right back there is my cheater wrench. I have an extra, always carry extras. I have an extra sewer hose over here, way underneath the chassis. Let's see. I've got, let me turn the light on. There's a light. I've got, you can't really see it, but I have a jumper cable under there and some extra cables down there. What else is down there? I got an extra extension cord down there. Make sure you bring jumper cables. You never know, you can help somebody else out or help yourself out. So that's in this bay. I have a second, I have two Blackstone griddles. This is my second one right here. So that covers this bay. We're almost done, actually. There's really not much more on this motorhome. This bay right here is your propane tank. Pretty self-explanatory. And that's a good thing. It's got a gauge on it down here, so you don't have to, if your gauge inside, your digital gauge fails, you can come in here and look at it on the outside. And I got almost half a tank. And I've been able to run this tank for almost, 3 years. Tells you how much we use this motorhome. All right, guys. I just looked at some of the video where I'm showing you the storage bays on this Palazzo, and it sounds like I'm literally out of breath. That's kind of crazy to say. I'm really not out of breath. I'm bending down, and I was trying to go through this thing so quick, and I listened to some of the video back, and it's like, dang, son, I must be out of shape. But I mean, I'm not really out of shape. But it's hot as Hades out here tonight. It's freaking humid, and so bending down is just hot, and I am kind of worn out. It's at the end of the day. Take a deep breath. Okay. Let me stop this video and flip my phone around so I can show you the rest of the bays. I found out that my camera or my iPhone will only do 15 minutes, so let's try this again. All right, where was I? I think I was right here in this bay. We finished up this bay, and I got to the propane tank, and then I got to the front. So we're gonna turn the light on now. All right, so this is the last bay. It's in the front. I've got some extra oil. I have my jack pads right here, and you actually need those because some campgrounds require you to put them down. Here I am breathing again heavy. Wow. Okay, so anyway, some campgrounds do require you to put jack pads down. What else? More funnels, small funnel, large funnel, additional funnel. I have a pump for transmission fluid in case I need to put transmission fluid in transmission. These Allisons, you have to pump them in there from the bottom. More oil, another tire chalk. This is some more house inch or chassis fuses. You have your auto generator start right there, some relays, and these are my amplifiers for my stereo in the house. They do run off of house batteries, and even the dash radio runs off house batteries. So that's how I have all my amplifiers for my speakers and my subwoofer in the motorhome. So that's about it. That covers everything on this Palazzo. All right, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video about how I store stuff in our Palazzo. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe and leave me some comments about any questions you may have, or if you do things differently or how you do it. I'd love to hear about it. All right, guys, I appreciate it. We'll catch y'all on the next one. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Yep. In the ER. That's how well this goes.